Hi everybody, my name is Danielle Nicole and welcome to Monetary Makeup. So I went to Ulta the other day and did a little bit of a shopping spree, and I was finally able to get my hands on this new L'Oreal True Match Nude Hyaluronic Tinted Serum foundation. If you guys follow me, you know that I have oily dehydrated skin, so I really love tinted moisturizers. So I'm really excited to give this a shot. And I picked this up in the shade 0.5 to 2 called Very Light, which is the fairest shade. And I also came across this NYX Pore Filler Targeted Stick, which is supposed to kind of help blur out your pores. So this is also a brand new release. So I'm really excited to try out these two new products with you guys. And while we review these, our topic of the day is going to be the most overlooked service that most financial advisors do not provide. So if you're curious if your own financial advisor provides this service, or you're searching for a new financial advisor yourself, you definitely don't want to miss this video. So if you're excited to get started, don't forget to hit the like button, and let's get started right now. Okay, so I've got you guys zoomed in. The only thing I have on my skin right now is moisturizer and the Glow Recipe Niacinamide Dew Drops. When my skin is extra dehydrated, which it is, or at least starting to get more dehydrated because unfortunately summer is gone, so I do find this does provide a really nice dew to my skin. So as I said, that's the only thing I have on my face right now. So let's go ahead and get started with this NYX Pore Filler Stick. Okay, so I guess you just pop the cap off. Also, if you guys notice my hands shaking, I did a little bit of exercising today and my arms, my muscles are just completely gone. So even picking up something like this, I can just feel my muscles flexing. So if you see that, that's why. But this is what it looks like when you open the cap. So just kind of like a pore filler stick, exactly how it sounds. So I think what I'm going to do is just apply this to the right side of my face, your left. That way we can see at the end of the day, once we do wear tests, swatches, and all that, we can really see the difference if there is a difference in the first place. All right, so I'm just going to kind of start swiping this on. So it almost feels kind of like a wax, and I do have pretty large pores myself, so I'll zoom in once I apply a little bit more of this, but I want to bring my mirror up close just to see if I notice a difference in person or not. Yeah, it just feels like I'm applying a wax to my face, kind of a thin formula. I honestly was expecting this to be more thick in consistency, but it's not. It feels pretty light. You know, the one thing I have to say about NYX is they do make some really great products, especially their lip formulas, but they are becoming so expensive. This was, I think, 10 bucks. By the time you pay tax, I think it was $12 or so. I just feel like drugstore prices are becoming so ridiculous. I mean, now I do a lot of dupes, or at least try to find a lot of dupes. And what's interesting is when you actually take a look at the amount of ounces in a lot of high-end products, you actually get more in a lot of the high-end versus drugstore. So it's like, come on, drugstore, you guys need to keep your prices low. Otherwise, what's the point of buying a lower quality product, you know? Okay, so I just kind of swipe this all over. You can't really dab it, I don't think, because really no product comes off that I'm seeing if you dab it. And, okay, so up close, I am not really seeing a difference, you guys. I think it took away some of the dew from the Niacinamide Glow Drops, but you can still see my pores. So, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens when we apply my makeup. Maybe it'll do better with that, but as of right now, I'm not really seeing any sort of a difference, so, okay. And also, I just cranked this all the way up, so this is how much product you get, and it is 0.1 ounces, so again, for 10 plus bucks, 0.1 ounces, I don't know, I'm still hopeful, we'll see. Okay, the product I have been waiting to try since it released. This has been sold out everywhere. I'm so excited I was finally able to get my hands on it, so I'm just going to shake it up quite a bit. Okay, so I've got my hair pulled back, and what I want to do is try using a brush on this side and a damp sponge on my left side just to see if there's any sort of a difference. I always use my Shop Miss A black sponges. They're amazing, as well as the Shop Miss A High Def brush number F2, which is a fabulous foundation brush for under $2, I might add. So let's get started with my left side, which will be the sponge side. And I am not someone who likes to take the dropper and drop it over my face. I just don't find I really get a lot of control with how much product I use that way. So I'm going to squirt out a little bit on my Shop Miss A palette. If you guys are interested in a palette, FYI, this was also only $2 and I find it comes in handy. So let me open this up, shake it one more time. Okay, so I just squeezed out one of these droppers, which ended up being about this much, just so you guys can see, and it is pretty runny, which I expected as it's a tinted moisturizer serum. So I'm just going to be working off of the palette, and I'm going to take my damp sponge. I don't have my brows done. I actually forgot to do them, so I kind of feel a little bit naked right now without them, but let's see how the sponge does on this side. I believe this product does have a little bit of alcohol in it, just in case anyone was wondering. I don't find it irritates my skin because it's such a small dose, but just wanted you guys to know. Okay, so I'm going to dip in with a little bit more and start blending this out on my cheeks. I do have a couple of breakouts right now. It has been a pretty crazy couple of weeks for me, so I think part of that has just been, you know, from stress breaking out, but what can you do? Typically, I wear my Putty Elf primer on my eyes, but when you're in a hurry, I'd rather see how it performs kind of over and underneath your eyes just to, you know, see what it looks like. So that's what I'm doing. And I always take just a little bit on the tip of my sponge to get into my nose pores because I find the butt of the sponge just doesn't really blend it out. So as I mentioned, I only put one dropper and I still have almost half. And I did a little bit of building with my sponge, so I'm pretty impressed with how far the product seemed to go. Okay, so next let's take my F2 brush and dip in. So as I mentioned, I'm finding this product kind of goes a long way. So I'm only taking a tiny bit to start off with, and we can always build up more if we have to. So I just wanted to point out, so I barely dipped in any. Can you guys see how much product is on there? So it does spread a lot further with a brush, but even with a sponge, I felt like it was going forever. And I always take my brush and just kind of dab over once I'm finished. I find that kind of resembles taking a damp sponge and doing the same. Wow, you guys, I am really impressed with this so far. To be honest with you, I don't buy a lot of drugstore foundations. I just haven't found really a ton that I like. But this is providing a true light coverage, and I probably could build it up even more, but I think it looks great how it is, so I don't want to put too much on. And also, I want to be able to tell at the end of the day if that NYX pore filler did anything. So brush side, sponge side. I think they both look pretty similar. A little bit more redness is peeking through here, but not too much more. So, wow, this is looking beautiful so far. Okay, you guys, I'm going to finish up the rest of my makeup and I'll be right back. Hi guys, I just wanted to come outside really quick and show you what the rest of my makeup is looking like. I just kept everything extremely natural today. So this was the sponge side and this is the brush side. I don't notice too much of a difference, and I think it's looking great so far. I would say it's leaning slightly matte, as I mentioned before. I would agree with that still, but it looks really natural and it's not irritating my skin or anything. The rest of my makeup went on very easily and I used all cream products over it. So far so good. Okay guys, so it is swatch time. The very first swatch is the Tarte Hydra Flex Serum Foundation in the shade 14B. In the middle is the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator in the fairer shade Porcelain. And the last shade is this L'Oreal Hyaluronic Serum in the fairest shade 0.522. Hi everybody, welcome to the topic of the day. So what is the most important service that financial advisors provide? Well, it's earning a return on an investment, right? No. Well, yes, don't get me wrong, earning a return on an investment is of course important, but anyone can do that. So when it comes to being a financial advisor, there are other services that are heavily overlooked. So on the left side, let's pretend that client A is a business owner. Well, most business owners, in order to run a successful business, they have their own financial advisor, CPA, insurance agent, attorney, business banker, and the list really goes on. I was only able to include a couple of professionals, but these are just a few examples to start off with. So what ends up happening with a typical financial advisor is that client goes to the financial advisor when they believe they need financial advice. And of course, that financial advisor is going to give them advice to the best of their ability with the knowledge that they know. But the problem is, what if they just met with their CPA and the financial advice that the advisor gave completely contradicts the advice that the CPA just gave? Well, what ends up happening is basically you have all these different professionals that are kind of planning in their own bubble, and they're not necessarily considering the other planning that these other professionals have done or are doing. So at the end of the day, working off of this referral mindset where, okay, client goes to financial advisor. The financial advisor realizes that client A probably needs a CPA. And then they hand out a couple of names for referrals for a CPA. But at the end of the day, how helpful is that really? Because if all these professionals are doing advice and planning with this client, they're not corresponding together. And that is the gap that I see in this industry the most. So you'll notice in this example, the client goes to the advisor, they're provided one service, but more often than not, they end up having to work with 5, 10, upwards of 20 different professionals in order to do holistic overall planning that client needs to be successful. So the other side of the board is what I called working as a team-based model family office. So with a team-based model family office, what ends up happening is, instead of, for an example, the financial advisor only working with financial advice, they actually have all these different professionals working within their family office. So within one office, whether it's virtual or a brick and mortar, they can offer an expert for financial advice, for tax planning, for insurance advising, a business banker, attorney, the list goes on and on. But the main difference is with option A, the client is expected to go to all of these different professionals. But let's be real, as far as business owners go, what business owner do you know that actually has time to meet with all these different professionals on an ongoing basis? And the client then has to be the one to relay the information between all these different professionals. It's just not an ideal situation. Whereas with option B, with all these different professionals working together with their planning, they end up providing more holistic and proactive value to their clients. So on the flip side, instead of having one service per advisor and having to manage 5 to 20 different relationships, now the client or the business owner can have one relationship where they go to the team-based model advisor, and now they're able to offer 5, 10, 20 different services all under the same roof. So just to give you an example, let's say I have a business owner that is interested in succession planning because they're getting ready to sell their business and retire. There's a good possibility that they need a lot more than just a financial advisor in order to accomplish their plan successfully. So in this example, the team-based advisor has all these different professionals that work together and do planning for the client under one roof, whether that be virtually or a brick and mortar, of course. So what would you rather have? One service only and having to manage 5 to 20 different relationships? are having one relationship to manage and 5 to 20 different services, right? So that's the biggest gap I see with the overlooked service for most financial advisors. It's simply not providing a holistic and proactive approach to their planning. So if you have your own financial advisor or you're looking for a new financial advisor, having that team-based model family office operation I find is much more successful than trying to manage all these different relationships on their own. Okay, before we cut into the wear test, don't forget to comment monetary makeup down below in the comments section if you're getting value from this type of content, and if you have any questions, definitely leave them down below. All right, let's cut into the wear test right now. Hi everybody, so hopefully the topic of the day was helpful for you guys. I wanted to do my final check-in for the L'Oreal Hyaluronic Tinted Serum as well as the NYX PORE Filler you can tell it's been a long day. NYX PORE Filler Primer. So I have to say that this is definitely a thumbs down from me. I did not notice really any sort of pore filling like it claims to do. It just felt like I was kind of rubbing wax on and it didn't really do anything. Now, as far as this L'Oreal serum, I do really like it. I think it looks natural. It started off matte, but my oil started to peek through. So now it looks a little bit more dewy than it did at the beginning of the day. So I'm going to come in a little closer so you guys can see what my skin is looking like. So like I said, a little bit more dewy now. You guys comment down below, do you see a difference in my pores, especially right here, versus this side that has nothing? I just don't see it, and I'm wondering if there's a difference on camera or not, because you know real life is always a little bit different. So yeah, the NYX Pore Filler, no. But I do recommend this if you are curious in trying it. I think it is a really good tinted serum, so definitely give it a go if you are interested. I do also want to mention that if you're not looking to spend the full $20, because this is really expensive, especially for a drugstore foundation. It's not even really a foundation, it's kind of like a tinted moisturizer. I would say try the Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator. That is one of my holy grail tinted hydrators, and it just looks super beautiful, and you're only paying $5 as opposed to $20. So I guess it's up to you. If you're curious about trying it, I definitely do recommend it. But at the end of the day, I still like my Wet n Wild Tinted Hydrator a little bit more. So I just want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed me reviewing these two products as well as the topic of the day. Don't forget to like the video and share it with a friend if you found it valuable. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys!